So today we've talked about debt management. This is module 3. And we started by talking about the Credit Reference Bureau. Many Kenyans don't know the existence of the Credit Reference Bureau. The Credit Reference Bureau was licensed by the government to actually reduce the issue of people defaulting on debt, to help bankers, and it's also good for people to reduce, to avoid getting negative reviews or negative evaluation every time they go borrow money from banks. So the Credit Reference Bureau is a good thing to ensure people are more disciplined in paying their loans, as well as banks reducing on their non-performing loans. So if you're listed, you need to talk to the people who listed you, find out what you can do about it, and if you are listed unfairly, then your name can be removed from that bad list or in the database of people who have been listed there. The Credit Reference Bureau lists both positive and negative. The positive listing are people who have been paying their loans consistently without fail, and the bank can actually use it to, the individuals can actually have positive ratings for that loan because you can actually borrow with better borrowing terms. And if you're listed, unfortunately for negative listing, then your name will be there for the next 5 years, even when you have finished over and above the number of years you've taken to clear your loan. So the moral of the story, you please go to the Credit Reference Bureau, ask for your yearly free report and see whether you've been listed unfairly or not, and avoid getting yourself listed there negatively. Then we went ahead to talk about module 3, which is really about debt. We talked about how debt is calculated. Loans are calculated. We talked about reducing balance and flat rate method. We've talked about the effect of paying faster and how much it will really reduce in terms of your interest and the number of months it takes to complete. We've talked about mortgages and what you need to know about mortgage. Many people just think you just go borrow money. There are many other things that you need to consider, including what the bank terms as various defaults and things like that. You need to consider things like, for example, stamp duty and other related costs. And then we look at the impact of loans. We have good loans and bad loans. People are borrowing loans for personal effects. They are borrowing loans for household things. Those are not good loans. Good loans are those ones that are liberating, not enslaving like bad loans. Good loans, if you take a loan to buy land and you start servicing the loan immediately, by the time you're through paying for the loan, the value of the land is much higher than the total amount that you've paid as principal and interest over the period or the long duration term that we call the period that you're paying the loan. So we need to take advantage of loans for investment purposes, not for consumption. But if you must take a loan, whatever the case, try and pay up faster, because you end up paying less interest and you finish faster. Then we talked about, as an example, we talked about credit cards and how people misbehave using credit cards. They abuse the credit cards. Credit cards are good and they are used in emergencies. For example, we gave the example that if you have a nephew who gets sick, and if the nephew is in your house, if you take that person to hospital, you can actually swipe your credit card if you don't have money, because your own medical cover may not cover your nephew or your niece or people outside your nuclear family. So it's a good thing. However, people misuse. People go and have drinks. Today is a Saturday, and many people go and swipe cards and spend money on drinks, on having a good time, or impulse purchases. That is wasting money. And the credit card debt is very expensive. We demonstrated how expensive it is, especially if you're only paying a minimum figure and you're not paying over and above the minimum that's stipulated by the bank. Then finally, we talked about how to get out of debt. If you're suffering from debt problems, we gave a strategy on how you can get out of debt. We came up with a number of points in how you can quickly list your debt, arrange them, prioritize them, and look for extra money to help you get out of debt. That is in general a summary of module 3 of our course. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.